What it do, my beautiful people? Happy Humble Good Times Day. I am Eden the Hero, and welcome. So, I just want to start off with a recap, just go over my last week, because it's been like, I've been talking about a lot of work shit, and I just feel like it's been such a heavy thing with me that I just needed to, I needed to surrender that feeling to God and give it to Him, because it was really getting to a point where I felt like I was about to be let go. And the crazy thing about it is, it's not like I'm wilding out on people or I'm being like super disruptive. I've been just quiet, but there's just been this boiling rage that has been building over time, and I just had to surrender. I was like, there is literally nothing I could do about how people act. I can't control them, but I can only control me. And it just got so uncomfortable being around people where I despise their presence. It's not like I'm super excited about them being around, but I really just had to surrender. I prayed so hard this morning, and this past weekend it's just been on my mind. I don't like when work comes home with me and it's just dwelling within me, and it's making home feel like unsafe, uncomfortable place. So thankfully God came through and really just took that feeling off of me. I was able to just humble myself and go talk to HR about how I've been feeling, and to tell her basically no one should be questioning my whereabouts when I'm not here if I requested off. And I told her, I was like, I understand that, if I call off and you guys are worried, I understand y'all questioning my whereabouts then, because it's not like me just to call off for nothing. So I sat her down and expressed to her basically I'm not okay with the gossiping that goes on around here. I told her about just leave it to good morning in the morning. Please don't carry on conversations. And I told her I'm a very simple person and I don't need the extra small talk. She's
like, well, how would you like me to deal with you? That's this one. I just want to make sure everybody's comfortable. And
I'm like, I just say good morning. That's it. That's all I need. Good morning. We good. She white. But either way, hold that thought. Excuse me, my baby boy was screaming at the window. I let him out on the balcony, and now he wants to come in already. So cats are fun. But so I told her just keep it to good morning and we good. And then I went into talking about, I tried to express in the most calming way of how the useless fuck that works at my job, how he comes around and causes unnecessary issues, and it's just more like his presence is the issue. Not so much him actually picking fights, but he just talks a lot of shit, and it just got to a point where I'm just like, bro, I don't want you around me, because you always got something negative to say. I just want you to leave my presence. Keep talking to a minimum of whatever you need from me, and then keep it the fuck in. But how I expressed it to her was basically there's people that that I know more than, and they've been here longer than me, asking me questions and stuff they should know. And I told her the name after I expressed it, but I'm like, but now that I'm under so and so, it's better for me now. But I still got to deal with this person because they need stuff from me and what I do. So it's like she knows these people longer than I do, but there was some understanding that I got from her point, which is all that I wanted. I was like, my biggest reason for this talk was I don't want to keep things going further and further and things get out of my control where I'm like an issue. I was like, I don't want to be a troublemaker. I want to, just come to work and do my job and not let things get to me. I was like, I don't want it to affect how I am, and I feel like I'm letting it affect me. But I just need to get this out to you so you're aware. And then I told her, I was like, I didn't appreciate you questioning my whereabouts when I requested off. I was like, no one should be questioning anything if I request off. I was like, whether I'm at a job interview or if I'm at an appointment, that's nobody's concern. And she's like, well, there was people talking about how you were looking outside for another position. I'm like, regardless, that's nobody's business. I was like, this is where I'm at. I was like, I would like to stay here. I would like to keep this job. I went first to my manager to talk to him about the possibility for a raise. He said he spoke to you. There is no room for it right now. Understood. I was like, I'm not looking to leave if I don't have to, but I am looking for a second job because I need to supplement my income. So she's like, that's totally understandable. She's like, I just don't want you to be unhappy if you're not happy. She's like, a lot of the reason why I've been just checking on you is just because I just don't want you to be unhappy. I want to make sure you're happy with working here. And I was like, well, I appreciate you caring about that, but really it comes down to like, I need money, period. I need to be paid, and this ain't enough. This ain't covering all my expenses, my livelihood. So she understood that. But overall, I mean, the conversation went good. I didn't, raise my voice. I used to, when I would approach any leader of management, I didn't care who they were. I would let my emotions get the best of me where I would kind of like just flip out a little bit. There was one time I flipped out on my manager because she had my guys, my team doing some dumbass shit that was counterproductive. We were supposed to get something out at a certain time, but instead of her getting what we like exactly needed, she bought some shit that wasn't exactly what they needed, and they had to alter like over 100 pieces of plywood. And so I just flipped out because I was just like, this is so fucking ridiculous. I was just on edge at that job. That was the one I got laid off from, but I always try to nip shit in the butt before I let it get to that extent. But this time around, I was really trying to not make anything a big deal, only because there's not enough people at this job. Literally, there's maybe 3.5 hands full. They just added 4 more people to our team in our production area, and prior to them coming in, the people that we work with, it's just all these problems, these dumbass problems, and people beefing with people for no fucking reason, and it just somehow my name gets pulled into the mix, and it's like, leave me the fuck out of your problem. I have nothing to do with nobody up in that bitch. I mind my business. I do my job. If I fuck up on something, let me know, I'll fix it. But all in all, it's just, I'm glad to have had that conversation. I was glad to have surrendered that feeling because it was just so overwhelming to me, where I'm carrying it with me between home and work, and I need peace. I live in peace. I literally live in peace. I will not have to wait till death to rest in peace. I will live in peace, and that's what I want at work. I want to work in peace because I understand that it's not just me, and that I gotta kind of work with a lot of different personalities, but my personality can mesh with pretty much anybody's. It's just a matter of, I just create boundaries after a while if I feel like the person I'm meshing with is overwhelming my peace. So I nip shit in the bud. I will quickly switch that shit in a heartbeat. But anywho, so yeah, that's been today actually. Over the weekend, because this is pre-taped, pre-filmed, and I had a really good weekend though. My weekend was awesome. I just ran my errands. I really made it a point to want to get my nights started earlier, where I'm not getting to bed so late. So my night routines, I'm getting started before 9 o'clock, which is a big help for me because I just can't stand staying up past 10:30 anymore. I like being in my bed by 10. Anything past 10:15 is way too late, and I would say past 10:30, like I said. 10:30 more like it, but just staying up late, I just can't do it because that's just so awful for my mood and my attitude. So I have been able to get my night started a lot sooner. But yes, so my weekend, I was able to get to the gym is what I was trying to make a point of. I hit the gym in the morning, which I was planning all week for. I was like, I'm going to go to the gym Saturday morning where I know no one's there and I can get my workout in, or at least I was hoping no one was there, because I really didn't know anyone's, like, what a Saturday morning looks like at my community gym. But luckily it was no one there. It was just me. They got the air conditioning working back, thank God. And from there, I was able to get some studying done. I was able to run out and do my errands. I had my coffee and muffin, my favorite part of my day. And I hit all my goals for that day, which was great. I usually don't try to hit all my fitness goals. It's not a priority on the weekend for me. But I do try to make sure I move on a Saturday. Sundays are super restful days. I make sure I get my rest that day. But yeah, that was my Saturdays. Sunday was chill. I rested, I studied, and what else did I do? I posted I post my vlogs, and that was it. I didn't do too much of nothing. I tried cooking some pizza crust, and that shit got fucked up. I have to get more yeast for my pizza crust. And Sundays with my family on the phone. So yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. So today, I was able to watch an interview with a really popular entrepreneur out here in Atlanta. And this entrepreneur had lost their kid almost 2 years ago. And watching that interview really just brought a lot of things into perspective for me because, like, I remember when I saw it online that they lost their kid, and it was just so like, what? Because I could see the bond online between them and how much they just had a really great relationship. And hearing how they passed, their kid passed, it was just so heartbreaking, man. It really just, it breaks my heart for them. And I couldn't imagine, like, being a parent and losing a child. And it really just brought a lot of things into perspective of my life, because of everything that I've been feeling with, just, with work, and just, there was a part of me that felt a lot of detachment, felt withdrawn from people. And just hearing her story, I was just like, wow. And she's able to keep going, like, regardless of one of the very worst things that could ever happen in life. It breaks my heart. And I was thankful to hear the story. I'm so sorry for her loss. Like, I really actually prayed for her, because I'm just like, that's just so heavy. But with that said, my feelings, my thoughts, like I said in my last video, I'm just on this place of really trying to figure out, who do I want to be, what do I want in life. And I was thinking about all the things that I've started as of recent, and how, like, it's a lot. It's a lot that I'm doing, but it's all possible. And I've been successful in a way of just being able to break it down into bite sizes, where I'm not overwhelming myself with doing it for like hours long in one day. I'm doing it in increments throughout my week, and it's been successful. And it's only been almost a week. It's not even a full week yet since I started this thing to get things accomplished. So I've been feeling pretty successful with that, and thankfully I reached out to one of my friends. Shout out to you, Aiken. I had to get this feeling out of me. I told her about, like, how I had the talk with my HR, and I just, the withdrawn feeling just made me really feel like I need connection. And that's one of the things that I am big on, is connecting with others, and it helps me to thrive. So being able to express that to my friend, and her just impart her own wisdom and give me the advice that I need, and I told her what I've been working towards, and how I just felt like I'm just running on this wheel of just thinking about a lot of things from my past. And I think I've just been holding on to this shoulda, woulda, coulda type shit of everything that's happened in my past. Things that didn't happen, things that could have happened or should have happened. And so with that said, it's kind of what I wanted to talk about on this vlog, is the woulda, coulda, shouldas that I've been thinking about. So for the would've, I think about when I first got sick, and how it stunted some things in me, because from the age of, I would say, 14 to 23, I think, 21, somewhere around there. I think it was 23 or 22, somewhere around there, 22 or 23. So When I was 14, I started having symptoms of my Crohn's disease. We didn't know if it was Crohn. We didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. I didn't even know if I was really sick. But over time, I progressively got worse, and my health. I lost like a ton of weight over one summer, where I was like, I probably lost 50 pounds without trying. And that's was from the internal bleeding and not being able to eat a lot of anything. And then the stomach pain, the fatigue kicked in. I would literally be at school falling asleep at my desk, not really retaining the information as well as everybody else, constantly in pain, stomach pain, not being able to eat, like I said. And after school, I would come straight home and I would go right to sleep. I would be asleep from like the time I got home till dinner time. Then I would try to eat dinner and it just wouldn't sit right. And so after probably like 15, when I turned 15, and probably like winter of 2001, somewhere around there, my parents finally took notice, and I told them about like the blood in my stool that I've been seeing. It was like where they finally like took me to the doctor, got me checked out. Doctor referred me to the hematologist. Hematologist took tests on me and referred me to digestive disease. And this is really like, I'm giving you like the fast track story. So, but from 14 to about 17, they finally diagnosed me at 17. And then there was a point of when I first was diagnosed until like later that year, I ended up my parents get a call from the doctors talking about they might think it's cancer, not Crohn's disease. So they took me in for more tests, confirmed it was Crohn's disease, thankfully. After that, I ended up getting surgery my senior year of high school, and I was homeschooled for like a month and a half or some shit. And I returned back to school. I'm not far from graduation, and I'm just trying to get back into a normalcy of being able to actually eat, being able to actually not feel pain, concentration's there, and it's not dawning on me of all the shit that I literally went through. Like, I know now, looking back at my earlier, like, towards my childhood, late childhood, early adulthood, where I literally came this close to death. And just thinking about that, I was never ready for college. And college is a part of my would have. So I probably wouldn't have gone to college. And that definitely would have saved a lot of money for my parents and for me. But I wasn't conscious in that conscious state of mind of like, wow, I just suffered through a really scary time of my life. I laughed my way through it. There was just a lot of laughter, thankfully. I was not deeply depressed. My family was there for me. I mean, I've gotten down to 92 pounds, and looking at those pictures, I mean, under 100 pounds is crazy. I look like a skeleton. And that's part of my would have. I would have never went to college, but I can't even front. I don't regret it. I don't regret college. There's so much that I did learn, and it's not really what I paid for, but it was a lot of outside of school. I mean, that's where I realized who I was at that time, which was considered lesbian. And just having that freedom, having for the first time a real social life, having actual friendships, because I really didn't have friends in high school. Like, I had people that I grew up with around my neighborhood and everything, or I went to school. I had school friends. I didn't have friends that I actually kicked it with on the weekend. They didn't come over and visit. I didn't go over and visit them. I had cousins. I had siblings. Like, we were each other's best friend. And just thinking about that, like, I would have probably not gone to college if I was in my right state of mind and conscious of the fact that I just suffered a ton of trauma. That was a traumatic thing. And the funny thing is, it's like, as much as I'm going through it, I don't even realize what it's doing to my family and everything that they're suffering from seeing me suffer. And I just try to just stay positive and just realize, like, you know, I'm not conscious of the fact that this could be me dying, but I'm young. I've been such a person that always used humor as a way of coping. So just looking back of everything that I went through, and literally college started for me 2 weeks after graduation. I graduated on June 17th, and then 2 weeks after June 17th, 2003, I'm in college because I had to go through some program to become a regular student in the fall. And so I literally been in school from 2000, well, before that, but college started for me in 2003, summer 2003 till I stopped my 4-year university in 3 years, but I didn't graduate. So 2006, spring 2006. Then for my could've, it kind of falls in line with my would've, but my could've is I could have just gave up. I could have literally just gave up on a lot of shit. And it's not only because of that traumatic experience. I experienced a lot of near-death experiences. I have been through some crazy shit where it literally could have took me out multiple times. I think it was more than a handful of times. So when I was about 3 years old, somewhere under 5 years old, I remember running down the sidewalk. Me and my mom and my siblings, we were walking to some store. I think it was just the grocery store. And my mom was telling us not to run. My ass was just super active as a kid. So I'm running. I fall and I slide on my belly into the street. There's literally a car coming right for me. It literally stops right in front of me. Like the tire almost kissed my cheek. That's how close I was almost taken out. I thank God to this day that He spared me. That's one. When I'm about 5 years old, I almost drowned. I literally jump into 5 feet after my uncle said, hey, no, my sister comes over because we were at the pool with my uncle and says, hey, we can get in the pool now. So I just literally jump in wherever, and I fall asleep under the water. And again, God looking out, I get rescued by, of all people, a nurse that's on off duty. An off-duty nurse saved my life. God bless her wherever she is. I pray she's still alive. I don't remember her name or anything. But that I feel like could have done some damage in my head too. So I don't know. I know that there could have been some kind of, long-term effects because I was underdeveloped. I was still only 5 years old, 6 years old, somewhere around there. That was number 2. Number 3 was Crohn's at the age of 14 to 17 before I got diagnosed. After that was where my blood count, red blood cell count, dropped below the minimum. So I think it was supposed to be around like 4 minimum. And no, I was at 4. I think it was 9 minimum or 12, somewhere around there. And I was at a 4. And so I'm having internal bleeding. I was really bad about not taking my medicine because I had to take actual like tablets or whatever. So yeah, that called for a blood transfusion. Then they gave me an iron infusion. And then they did all this testing on my fucking arms. They had to do like allergy tests. And that was a near-death experience as well, because that literally scared the shit out of me when the doctor was like, yeah, we're gonna have to give you either a blood test, not a blood test, a blood transfusion, or you could die. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, there's literally like, there was no question about it. There was no like warm up for this, because this is like, he was like, you literally need to get in the hospital ASAP. So I told my parents about it because I think I went to the appointment myself, and they were like, what? Like, yeah. So yeah, that was, like I said, around 22, 23, I had that experience. Then, what else? I have a near death at work. There might have been another one. But I was like 30. No, I was probably like 29. I was 29. Wasn't even 30 yet. 29. I'm at work. This is like 2 weeks into this new job. I'm on what's called a cherry picker. It was an old ass one too. It wasn't even a new one. Very old. And I was like 50 feet in the air with my trainer, my supervisor at the time. And that motherfucker catches fire below us. Literally looking down, and all I see is flames. It's like descending to hell. My supervisor's like, when you get off of this, do not run. What do? Because I'm black. I run. He was like, go head to security and I'm going to get everybody else out of here. I'm like, I go to security. I'm out there waiting. Tell them what's going on. No one comes out. After like 15 to 20 minutes, I go back in and I'm just like, where the hell is everybody? Because he told me to come out here. Everybody else was there. So he was able to put the fire out with an extinguisher that's on the equipment. But 2 weeks in, like literally, that happens. I'm just like, what is it with me, Lord, that I keep having these moments? Like, it's just blows my mind. Like, it really just blew my mind. But then again, I'm just like, is this is the latest of my life being spared. What happened after that? It's another time. Down here in Atlanta, man. When I got down here, I never seen the amount of accidents that I have ever seen in my life down here. It was a lot, and I've been in some near fatal accidents. So I've never been in an actual accident. No one hit me hard. There was one person that tapped my tail, but no one like hit my car while I was in it or anything. My car got hit in like a parking spot and left it down. I've never been in an actual accident. Lord, please don't let me get in one. But there was one where I was scared the shit out. It shook me up. Where I was like going from the far lane into the next left, the right lane that was next to it. And as I'm going, a flatbed truck is coming into the same lane at the same time. Thankfully, by the grace of God, we miss each other, but they just came super close where I would have been sandwiched between a truck and a car. And I'm so glad I got out of that so fast. And I'm always looking in my mirrors all the time. I'm always looking at people behind me, and I'm looking at people in front of me, because the people behind me are very careless. The people beside of me don't look. There's hardly anybody that puts on a signal. So luckily I made it out of that, but I was so shook up at work. I'm just like, I nearly died today. And I don't like driving to the south side of Atlanta. I hate it, because that's where I feel like the worst of the worst drivers are, and very careless. That's where a lot of the accidents I would see would happen. I work on the north side, more towards my side, where it's a lot safer from what I experienced. So I don't think I ever want to go back to the south side to drive for work, because that's just dangerous. That's going towards the airport, basically. But yeah, with all of those things that happen, it just makes me want to live. Like, I literally want to just live. I want to fulfill my dreams. I want to let go of everything that's traumatic that has happened to me. And in this space that I'm in right now, I've just been super what's the word I'm looking for? Just inside myself, just having all these inner thoughts and working things out, doing the inner work. I really just want to just get this inner work healed, where I can just be successful. So I feel like little by little, I'm setting myself up for success through all of this introspective work that I'm doing, between my journaling, between my vlogging, between my projects. Projects are my passion, and because of those things that I've experienced, that I can just look back on, that God spared me for. I'm here for a reason, for sure. I'm very aware of that. I want to impact. I really want to do some impactful stuff to help others. And it could have all just turned the opposite way if I wasn't who I am, the people that I have in my life play a major role. My family, specifically more my parents, they don't respect what they see and how I identify. But there is love there. There's love, there's compassion. They're Christians, so they have their beliefs, and honestly, when it comes down to it, love is enough with them for me, because they're my parents. The only people that I can say that's my parents. Um, but I'm thankful to know, like, despite all of what I've gone through, I can get up every day. I can still look forward to something to complete, to want to accomplish, to reach to want to even have the dream of impact on others positively. It feels good. It's great to know, like, the spirit inside of me is just wanting to live and to be free. And a lot of my frustration with, like, work is because there's a lot that comes with work that my spirit just doesn't align with. Clocking in, clocking out, having to be somewhere I don't want to be, doing things that I really don't want to do, answering to people that I don't want to answer to. But the adult in me understands I need my benefits. I need an income. I need stability. So could have took me out, could have stayed down, I could have took my life out and just not cared. I could have gave up. But I'm still here, and I'm thankful, and I'm happy to be. I love my life. I love the space that I'm in, because I'm figuring things out. And then it's allowing me to use my mind. It's allowing me to create new tools for myself, figure out other resources, connect with people. Because there's going to be a time where I'm not going to be like this. I'm not going to be down. I'm not going to be living this adversity, and be up and thriving and impacting, because that is what I feel like I'm starting to hone in on my purpose. And that's what I've been wanting to figure out for a very long time now. It's like, God, what am I here for? Why am I here? Why did you spare my life all those times? And that I keep coming back to impact. So using my own story, creating my own platform, and doing these projects and all of that is, I believe, one day going to create impact. For my last part to this is should've. And for my should've, I've come up with there are things I probably should have walked away from. Situations, people, there should have been things that I should have walked away from, not gave energy to. And I think about that, and maybe I think about the time invested in those things and the chances I gave. And it really is those things that were undeserving of me, my understanding, and my time. But I don't regret much of anything, only because of where I'm at now. I'm getting more and more prepared for the bigger part of my life, where, like I said, I'm gonna create the impact that I'm meant to create. And where I was in a relationship for 5 years, my longest relationship, it was my first long term, and just knowing, like, the abuse that I did go through. I went through domestic abuse, and it was a lot of it was me trying to basically say, well, this person been through this, and they were literally abused up until they met me. Where I'm not an abusive person, and they were abused up until they met me, it was like almost like I didn't control her. She was gonna control me. She was gonna basically turn into the abuser as the abusee. So it literally was like that. And just picking up signs of understanding how people are mentally unhealthy, I was able to learn a lot of those signs between that and a family member of mine that was suffering some things, and they were almost identical in some of the ways that they acted. So I was like, I see that in my ex at the time. And just from that point on, I've really gotten to understand the impact of trauma, abuse. I didn't grow up in an abusive household. However, there are things that happen to me out of my control, which, it happened. And I was able to forgive the person for who did those things to me. But I could see it in other people. I couldn't see it in myself, how it's affected me all these years. And I just had to let go of that and stop letting it dictate how I move in life, because a lot of my trust was lost as a child in my family, my parents, and people. I didn't trust many people, and to this day I don't trust a whole lot of people. But I'm opening up on this blog. I feel like this is just my safe space where I'm in my home talking to my own audience and sharing these things where I feel like it'll be received in a way where it's not, in a way that's not feeling shameful or whatever. But just knowing what my ex been through, and then her turning on me not realizing right away, but then realizing it's abusive. and I didn't want to become an abuser, but it got to a point where there was probably one or two times where I just snapped, and it was more like a defense. It was in defense. It wasn't like I was just throwing hands to throw hands. We're going into from that relationship, and then I had my most recent one that I spoke about. So I told y'all about the song that I wrote. Well, the part of the song that I wrote expresses how I had to defend myself at the end of that relationship. I had to put my hands on my ex, because she would have definitely put me in the hospital, or I would have ended up in jail and having to defend myself even more. Yeah, I'm not proud of this. I'm so not proud of this. And I just feel like I wanted to express this because these things are what's happening in relationships that are LGBTQ. It's very almost normalized. I've seen many of people go through it, and it's not cool. It's not cool. And why I'm so at peace and why I strive for 5 years of singlehood is because of just a lot of the relationships I've been in were just not healthy relationships. I wasn't at my healthiest, they weren't at their healthiest, and I just needed a break from giving myself so much to someone and it being super toxic. So those are the things that I should have walked away from. I should have walked away sooner in that 5-year relationship, but it taught me a lot. I learned a lot about myself, and I look back on it yes, it was not an easy thing, but I made it through. I'm able to still love. I'm just looking forward to doing bigger and better things. And after talking to my friend who's just helped me to realize, like, focus on the present, focus on the now, and let go of the woulda, coulda, shouldas of yesterday. And that should help you to really get into step into my purpose and thrive. Because that's where I feel like I've been just in this space of holding back or being held back by a lot of these thoughts, a lot of these feelings, and being so withdrawn and disconnected because through the adversity, it got me in this space of preserving my energy, protecting myself, and not really wanting to be around others that might be doing better than me, because I wanna be a winner. I'm always thinking about how to win, and it'll just remind me in a way where I'm just like, I'm not where I want to be. So I'm taking it off for what it is, and I'm running with it, and I'm working on succeeding and thriving. So this has been a humble good time. I am Eden the Hero, and thank you for watching. Tune in next time. Bye.